Look, there's a huge amount of scaremongering that's going on from parts of the establishment who are looking for any excuse to stop this or to delay it. The instruction of the people wasn't leave subject to a deal, it was leave. Leave. It wasn't even Brexit, it's actually worse than remaining in the European Union. I want a clean, proper Brexit.
All right,
let's be very clear. What we need is leadership that is prepared to either negotiate a good deal or walk away. No deal, no problem, no money, we save 39 billion, we spend it back in the UK. Garbage in equals garbage out with these economic models. There's a wonderful opportunity as long as we leave the customs union, because that's crucial. We can then have a free port, and free ports generate thousands and thousands of manufacturing jobs. If we have no deal, we're not going to pay 39 billion unless our negotiators are incredibly weak, and that actually really concentrates the minds of the European Union, because if they haven't got 39 billion of our money, they are bust. Oh, come on, let's be clear. We all know in business that no deal is better than a bad deal. Of course it's true, every business person knows that, and this is the worst deal ever in history, to pay £39 billion for nothing guaranteed in return.
Please welcome to the stage, Richard Tice.
Does the microphone? Yes, good evening, welcome. How are we, Brexiteers? Are we all right this evening? Fantastic, I've come to the right party. It's great to be here in Wolverhampton, the home, of course, of a fine... What? It's going well so far. Now, you look far too comfortable in these seats, so I just want to make sure you can all hear me. You've all got your placards. Ladies and gentlemen, bit of audience participation. What do we want? Brexit. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Brexit. When do we want it? Excellent. Hopefully those nice people standing outside can hear us. In my day job, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been involved in running small businesses, medium, large. I've built thousands of homes, created tens of thousands of construction jobs. So I know a few things about business, but I got sort of slightly interested in politics, and the day job turned into the night job. I must confess, I made a mistake. We all do. I was a member of the wrong political party. I know. You're much kinder than some people. I get terribly booed when I say that sometimes. Anyway, I resigned about 4 weeks ago when I accepted the invitation to be chairman of the new Brexit party. Thank you. It sounds very grand. The truth is I'm actually just the warm-up act. But we've been quite busy, you may have heard. We've been quite busy in under 5 weeks since we launched in Coventry, just down the road. And we've been in rallies, events, all over the country. And it's fair to say that we have really taken the political scene by storm. Before we carry on though, we've got a video that hopefully the screens will show you, our launch video. So let's see if we can play that, and hopefully people can see that on the screens.
We have been betrayed. That is why I set up the Brexit Party. It's why we're going to fight the European elections on May the 23rd. And that is just the beginning of what is needed in this country.
Democracy is under threat. And when politicians fail to deliver, there must be consequences.
I was too young to vote in 2016, but now I support the Brexit Party because I believe in delivering on democracy.
It's time to recognise that actually we are an incredible nation.
This isn't about left or right.
It's about standing up for our right to be heard.
Successful, hard-working, so much to be confident, enthusiastic and optimistic about.
That's why I'm supporting the Brexit Party.
We are a single nation. We wish to remain a nation.
They must adhere to the promises made to the people.
Let's be optimistic.
And for the benefit of our children and grandchildren, if you want a home and you're a Brexiteer, you join the Brexit Party now.
We can do so much better than currently we're getting from our members of parliament. We want to be an independent, self-governing nation, making its own laws, controlling its own borders, and being proud of who we are as a people. Join us, help us, support us, do what you can for us. We need change in this country, and we need it now. Britain needs the Brexit Party, and the Brexit Party needs you.
As you'll hear later, ladies and gentlemen, he's back and he's better than ever, I promise you. Now, hands up, who are registered supporters here? Excellent, there's a few of you still thinking about it. Hopefully we'll convince you tonight and you'll go home and become a registered supporter for £25, because we are making a huge difference. We're now over 100,000 registered supporters in just 5 weeks. We are the fastest growing grassroots political movement this country has probably ever seen in a generation. And one of the reasons for that is that we all know that this great country of ours, that we are so proud of, deserves so much better. We know that, frankly, enough is enough. We have been humiliated, utterly humiliated as a nation, having to write our Prime Minister not one, but 2 begging letters to overseas leaders and bungling bureaucrats in Brussels, asking how we should conduct our own economy and our affairs. It's an outrage, an utter humiliation and a disgrace. Incompetent leadership, incapable negotiators, MPs trying to do dodgy, dirty, useless, backroom deals, totally in contravention of what they promised us in the 2017 manifesto. We should not put up with it. It is an absolute outrage. Civil servants, totally not up to the job. MPs who want to sell our great country down the river, put it into a straitjacket with the worst deal in history, and give the keys to that straitjacket, the keys to the padlock, to these people in Brussels. Who on earth would do that? Civil servants that have decided it's a good idea to stop no deal planning. We have a message for them. We, the Brexit Party, we believe in our great nation. We know that no deal is always better than a bad deal. And and we want everybody in Westminster, when they see the size of the vote that we get this time next week, they need to understand that every single vote was a vote for a WTO Brexit. And it was also a vote. We demand that some of our elected MEPs who have experience in the world of business and negotiation, we demand that they play a significant role in the future negotiations. We will have the direct elected democratic mandate to negotiate for a WTO Brexit. And if we win, ladies and gentlemen, and win big, then hopefully that will knock on the head forever all this absurd talk about a second referendum. We'll shortly have our speakers on. The quality of applicants to be candidates for the Brexit Party was truly outstanding, and you'll see that later. It was really humbling to us as we set it up to look at this. We interviewed well over 100 people from over 1,300 applications, and it really is outstanding. And they've showed huge courage to put their head above the parapet. But they too, like us, very quickly concluded that enough is enough. They have to stand up and do something about it. Because we all know our country deserves so much better. We know that with good, competent leadership, we can spend our taxpayers' cash. It's not government money, it's our cash. We can spend it better, spend it smarter, faster, more wisely, cut out the waste, get rid of the rip-offs. All this stuff is possible with competent, capable leaders, not the bunch we have at the moment. And let's be very clear. The Brexit Party, we don't stand for left or right. You can see that from the broad church of candidates that we've got. We stand for right or wrong. Competent, common sense politics that works for the people. Never before, ladies and gentlemen, has the country been poised for so much opportunity for change. The opportunity is massive. We know that Brexit is a huge opportunity to be embraced with ambition, with hope, with enthusiasm, with excitement, with confidence, and with belief. But of course, that requires leadership. Now we need all of you, not only to make sure that you vote, your family votes, your friends vote, and friends of friends, so that this European election has a huge turnout to send a massive message down to Westminster. We want a WTO Brexit, and we want it now. And let's just check. Do we believe in Britain? Yes! Fantastic. So that brings me on to, as I said, I was just the warm-up act. Our first speaker, first candidate this evening, he is from the world of business. He's been quite involved in football clubs. I won't mention the name of the football club that he was chairman of. Might upset a few people. He was also on the board of the Football Association. He's a serial entrepreneur, been involved in numerous businesses as well as farming. It's fantastic that he put his name forward to be a candidate for the West Midlands area. Please give a huge welcome, Rupert Lowe.
Please welcome to the stage, Rupert Lowe.
Well, it's a pretty frightening number of people in this room, but good evening, everybody. So, I put my name forward, and I have to tell you all I'm incredibly proud to be representing the West Midlands for the Brexit Party in the election for the European Parliament next week. I would like you all to know that if I'm elected, I will be representing the interests of not only the West Midlands, but the citizens of the United Kingdom in the European Parliament. I will also be using my position to try and ensure a World Trade Organization Brexit for the people who voted for that in this country. This election, in my view, is not about whether you voted Leave or Remain. It's not about whether or not you vote for Liberal, Labour, Tory. This is about our country. This is about our leaders, who are supposed to be the servants of the people, delivering on the outcome of the 2016 referendum, which they've singularly failed to do thus far. If you lose your vote, and many people have fought hard for the vote, you become a serf, not a principal. You don't have a stake in society. So we can send a message, the people of this country, to our leaders in Westminster and the civil service that are supposed to be servants of the people, that we expect them to deliver on the referendum that they gave us in 2016. A little about my past and my views on Europe. My view is quite simple. I like the individual, I like free trade, I like floating currencies, and I like a sovereign, accountable parliament in Westminster. That's what I stand for. This is the second time in my life that I felt compelled to put my name forward above the parapet, take whatever flack comes. I'm used to that. I've had my phones hacked. I've been libeled in the media. I'm used to being up there and taking the flak. But in 1997, and I was pretty shocked when I did an interview before I came up, that the person who interviewed me did not know what happened in 1997. Well, let me tell you. In 1997, the very same people who were proposing not to deliver on the referendum were all recommending to a man that we join the euro. That was Labour under Tony Blair, the Liberals under Paddy Ashdown, and John Major under the Tories. Sir James Goldsmith stepped forward and put £50 million up, and we fought under the banner, "Let the people decide." We won in excess of 800,000 votes, and those three parties, they'd already signed stage 1 and 2 of EMU, they promised they would not sign stage 3 without giving the public a referendum. So, ultimately, that saved the currency, which is absolutely crucial for us. The referendum that we had in 2016, everybody knew the question, it was very simple, and we gave them an answer. They haven't listened, and I think it's absolutely crucial that you all now show that message to Westminster. You vote for the Brexit Party next week. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. I saw the red light go. Rupert Lowe, ladies and gentlemen. I've known Rupert a long time, and let me tell you, I'd much rather have him negotiating on behalf of our country than some of these useless civil servants who don't believe in what they're negotiating for. Now, the next speaker's taller than me. He's a great candidate. He's been a passionate supporter of Brexit. He's a writer, a commentator, a regular TV pundit on all sorts of TV channels. It's incredible that he was prepared to put his head above the parapet, because immediately all the media, which is full of sort of lovies and all sorts of strange people, they're not very keen on Brexit, as you may have noticed. So for someone like Martin to put his head above the parapet and say, I'm actually going to stand, just shows the courage of the candidates who are standing for the Brexit Party in this election. So please give a huge round of applause, Martin Daubney.
Please welcome to the stage, Martin Daubney.
Good evening. How are we doing? Every single person in this room is part of a political revolution. And doesn't it feel great? Come on! 2 weeks ago, when I was approached to do this job, I was faced with a stark decision. I had to give up all of my livelihood because you can't be a political commentator and stand in politics. I work around a lot of Remainers in PR and in journalism. Now, hang on, my wife's a Remainer, but we're still in love. But I realised that I couldn't stand on the sidelines anymore. On Sky News, Channel 4, Channel 5, you name it, anywhere that would have me, and talk about Brexit. I had to get involved. My mum and dad are here tonight. Round of applause for my mum and dad. And my auntie and uncle, and my in-laws, and my nephew from Texas. Passionate Brexiteers. And they said, you've got to go and represent us, son. Who else is going to represent ordinary people? Not that bloody lot in Westminster, Mum said. Mum knows best. Since then, ladies and gentlemen, I've been blown away by the candidates in this party. Black, white, Asian, gay, straight, Jewish, Muslims, Hindus. Do you know what I mean? You're getting a picture? This is not a movement of the right wing. We have left wing, we have right wing. It's a beautiful coalition, all of who believe in democracy. Simple as that. And there's something else. There's something else. We're putting the fun back into politics. Aren't our opponents so miserable? At first, it was the Three Stooges of Remain. Tony Blair, John Major, Nick Clegg, these political corpses bobbed back to the surface to tell us that we were thick and racist and xenophobic. Oh, really? Then we had George Osborne and Cameron, or as I call them, Dumb and Dimmer. They told us plagues of locusts would sweep in from the continent and eat all of our sandwiches and crisps. Look on the bright side, no more Gary Lineker adverts on the TV. Yeah. And next they moved on from Project Fear to Project Sneer. I was on TV with Alistair Campbell, him, yeah? And he was sitting there lying through his back teeth about how the public had changed their mind. They want to vote, they want a people's referendum. I went, no, they don't. Which people? He said, well, my friends. So, well, I've just got back from Nottingham, and I talk to people in car boot sales and chip shops and pubs, and they don't agree with you, mate. Who are these people? I said, well, they go to dinner parties. I went, oh. I don't go to dinner parties. I hang out with real people. And I said to him, when are you going to realise that it's not a people's vote? It's a loser's vote. Next, Project Fear, Project Sneer became Project Smear. Smearing the candidates in this party. When are the media going to realise you cannot barrage the Farage? Just stop. But here's the thing. The Brexit Party has become Project Cheer. We are the ones cheering for Great Britain, cheering for an optimistic future of a WTO Brexit, cheering to be liberated from the EU. And there was no bigger cheer than at a working men's club this week for Anne Widdecombe in a coal mining village. What? Something incredible happened. A pit village. My dad was a miner for 47 years. These men built Britain. A pit village community stood on its feet and cheered a lifelong Conservative. And the journalists from The Guardian and the Daily Mail didn't know what to do. They're like, what's going on here? What's going on is that people from the left and people from the right are uniting around the central defining topic of our time, enacting Brexit. It's as simple as that. A guy was sat in that audience. His name was Steve Roberts, a coal miner. I phoned him up. I was on the phone to him for an hour. I'll still be on the phone to him now, but his missus wanted a cup of tea. He said, when you go on that stage tomorrow, Martin, remember the people are with you. We thought nobody cared about us. We'd almost given up hope. But the hope is back, and the hope is because of the Brexit Party. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. We're back. Thank you.
Brilliant. Isn't it great?
Thank you.
We love him. Martin Daubney, ladies and gentlemen, courageous, great fun, cheerful, full of hope. What an inspiration. And it says everything about this party. There is no question, there is something going on. There is a real movement, a grassroots movement, a groundswell, because people know that we deserve to do so much better. We know that politics is broken And we, ladies and gentlemen, we the Brexit Party are here to change politics for good. Our next candidate is a born and bred Brummie. You can do better than that, come on. Thank you very much. He trained as a solicitor. He's still a lawyer, but he's also been an entrepreneur. He's been involved in setting up and running businesses. He's won 2 Queen's Awards for enterprise. Again, it's fantastic. We've got his skill and expertise standing, putting his head above the parapet, because he knows we just need to run and govern our country so much better. Please give a huge welcome, Andrew Kerr.
Please welcome to the stage, Andrew Kerr.
Wow. What an incredible journey we're on. Never in our great nation's history have we seen a party grow so fast and capture the imagination and the fury of the betrayal of a political elite. I share your anger at the refusal to implement the referendum decision. I share your anger at the disrespect for our democracy and the anger how we have been humiliated on the world stage. So I say, let us take this immense and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that we will fight for democracy. We will fight for British jobs, we will fight for British industry, and we're going to fight corruption. The Brexit Party gives us the first real opportunity to bring honesty and integrity back to British politics. And to some of those EU unelected bureaucrats that say that we should go to hell, I'll send a message back to him. Go find a taxidermist. With your support and this great team that we're putting together, let us put the great back in Britain. Thank you.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Andrew Kerr. Andrew referred to the need for change. And one of the things that we have to take on is the vested interests, ladies and gentlemen. The vested interests of the establishment. We will take them on. The vested interests of the big multinationals and the lobby groups like the CBI. The vested interests of the civil service who don't want change. They don't want to represent us properly. We have to take this on. We have to change it. We have to reform politics so that it works for the people. To our next candidate, again, from the world of business, a real entrepreneur, worked in the world of aviation. He says almost in his spare time, he's a sporting agent, but he really knows the world of business, how to negotiate. Please give a huge welcome to Vishal Khatri.
Please welcome to the stage, Vishal Khatri.
So, good evening to all my fellow Brexiteers. What are we here for? Brexit! That's it. I love being here in the Midlands. You're an amazing crowd and I'm feeling the love. Thank you. So, does everyone feel as let down as I do by the current flip-flopping in Westminster? So what do we plan to do about these flip-flops? I'll tell you what I plan to do. I plan to go out on the 23rd of May and vote for the Brexit Party, and I urge you all to go out and vote for the Brexit Party. Tell your neighbours, tell your co-workers, tell your family and your friends. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Vishal Khatri. I'm the son of migrants from India who came here in the 1970s to fulfill their British dream, to build a better life for themselves and their children. My parents came from very humble backgrounds. My dad was initially a tailor, a bus driver, and then eventually, with the help of my mother, fulfilled his dream of opening his own business. Over the years, they taught me everything I know today. How to be successful, how to trade with honesty and integrity, which is so key to our British values. Around 4 years ago, I started my own business as a sports agent, and soon I found out I was doing deals all around the world. The world was so much bigger than Europe, and we need to reach out to them. Well, getting back to our fantastic campaign, I have met so many fantastic people on the road, everywhere, the amazing support we have received everywhere, and it's all thanks to all of you. Together, we have started something really, really special. This is the start of a movement to finally deliver on the will of the people, to deliver on your democratic decision. And now is the time to stand up for Britain and make it more prosperous for us now and for our future generations. Let's make a start on the 23rd of May and vote for the Brexit Party. Thank you very much, everyone.
Great. Vishal. Thank you, Vishal. Fantastic. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're not all men. There's good news. Our next candidate's family comes from Birmingham. She's been involved in working in charity for many, many years to help the sick, the disabled, the disadvantaged. She also runs an entertainment business called The Ripple Effect. Again, I'm just hugely proud that she had the courage and the bravery to put her head above the parapet. Please give a massive welcome, Nikki Page.
Please welcome to the stage, Nikki Page.
Well, hi. I'm Nikki, and I am so very proud to be here in the West Midlands representing the Brexit Party. And what an amazing group of candidates. You know, we've only known one another for a couple of weeks, but we've already bonded so well because we believe so passionately in the cause. My parents and grandparents were all from Brum. I grew up a bit east of here in Leicester, and I grew up with what I think of as core Midlands values: fairness, integrity, common sense. That's how we do things here, isn't it? Our word is our bond. We try to do what's right. And what we're seeing in politics now, from parties right and left, from the entire establishment, is that they're not doing anything that is fair or is right. It is not. It is not fair or right to tell people they have a choice and then take it away. It is not fair or right to get elected making promises that you have no intention of keeping. And now, it's no longer about what's right and what's left. It's about what's right and what's wrong. And you know what? As for common sense, well, if they had any, they'd have gone to Brussels, said, we voted leave, we're off, we'd love to be great local allies, we'd love to do trade with you, there's far more of you than us, you tell us what you'd like to do and we'll think about it. It really shouldn't have been that hard, should it? And if they'd sent Nigel, it wouldn't, he's not here yet, but if they'd sent Nigel, it would have been that easy, wouldn't it? And now it is very serious. And I want to take a moment to share with you something that happened to me in Bromsgrove last week. We were out campaigning, wonderful team of people in the high street. It was a bit wet, a bit cold, and I saw a young man, I'd guess about 22, and he was huddled up in his coat, and I'm going to call him Sam. And I asked Sam how he was going to vote next week. And this is what he said. He said, I'm never voting again. He said, I voted in 2016. I thought it was important. I thought it was about the future of our country. He said, I studied it. I thought I'd made the right decision. And you know what? For the first time in my life, I thought I'd won something. But I was wrong. Those politicians, the establishment, that lot in London, they don't care about me or anyone like me. They don't care what we think. They'll just do what they want, no matter how we vote. Well, we're not going to let them seal Stam's Brexit, are we? And we're not going to let them steal our Brexit. We're going to remind those politicians that they're only earning their pay, their perks, their pensions because we put them there. And we only put them there because they promised that they would take us out of the EU. Now, with your help, that of your friends, your neighbours, your colleagues, we are going to hold them to account and we're going to show them that we are not putting up with their lying and cheating. We are not going to. And we are not going to stop until we have our Brexit. Democracy for Sam and for every other person in Britain. So on Thursday, vote for the Brexit Party, vote for democracy, and vote to change politics for good. Thank you.
Nikki, come around. Round of applause. Brilliant. Well done. Great. Nikki Page, ladies and gentlemen. Another great candidate. And so, to our next candidate, who originally trained as a dental surgeon and practiced that for a number of years. She's now an inventor. She works in medical research as well as charity. She describes herself as perpetually curious. I think all of us actually are perpetually curious why democracy, in the mother of all democracies, seems to have been ditched. Why on earth haven't we left? We're curious about that too. But anyway, Laura never imagined she'd be standing as an MEP candidate. But she, like the other great candidates, just felt compelled. She just said, this is an outrage. Enough is enough. And that's why it's fantastic to have her as a candidate here in the West Midlands. Please give a huge welcome, Laura Kevehazi.
Please welcome to the stage, Laura Kevehazi.
Good evening, Will and Hall, and thank you for your support. It is great to be able to talk about Brexit and not get attacked. And actually, I was up on a digger yesterday canvassing on a building site. The brickies were below, and that's what happened. I am proud to join such a special group of candidates representing modern Britain, and honored to be standing in West Midlands. Like everybody else, you feel it's terrifying to live your private life and step in the public arena, to raise your head above the parapet and become a target. I am not a politician. I'm a mother and a grandmother of 4. I have worked as a dental surgeon. I was involved in medical research and charity. We were vilified. We were slandered and sneered at by the politicians and the media. We were called racists. Now I'm asking you, is it logical that overnight 50% of the country, the majority, are suddenly racists? I mean, who invented? We were even called Nazis for believing in Britain and supporting Brexit. This is deeply offensive to me personally. I've lost several family members in the Holocaust. I'm coming from a family displaced by war. That lived in a dictatorship under Nazis and communists. Only when you have no voice and no freedom, you understand how precious democracy is. We are entitled to live in a democratic society where we vote and politicians deliver. We voted for our taxes to be spent on British people and not EU budgets. We voted to be in charge of our laws, in charge of our taxes, our defense, and our borders. We voted not to become one member state out of a federal superstate of 28. English language, it's one of the 24 official languages. We don't want our young men and women enrolled in the EU Federal Army. We voted to control our own industry and manufacturing. There are fantastic businesses in West Midlands that are expanding. Aston Martin, BAE Systems in Telford, JCB that manufactures in Staffordshire since 1945. We have all the international banks. We have Bet365, the Rigby Group, the Doncasters Group, and many, many more. There are more international companies and businesses in Birmingham than in any other city outside London. What we have in common is that we believe in Britain, not Brussels. We are patriots, and that we should be proud. We are not racist. Last week, we were even called the village idiots of Brexit and the herd with no GCSEs. I mean, that's surreal. In spite of all the abuse, we must stand up together and change our politics for good. The Brexit Party created a national movement, a unique movement that brings together pub owners and academics, stay-at-home moms and teachers, business people, fishermen, and immigrants like me, proud to call Britain home. And as we see around the country, the Brexit Party takes the anger, despair, and humiliation and transforms it into hope, courage, and belief in a brighter future for all of us. Vote for the Brexit Party, stand with us, and together we will have our voices heard. We are the many, not the few. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Brexit, it's our generation's battle of Britain. We have to fight it. Thank you.
Isn't it great? Now you really know what it means to be courageous. That is absolutely fantastic. And that is why it is so outrageous the way that we Brexiteers are being portrayed in this country. The elite, the establishment. But we will win, we will have our time, and we will sweep them away. So, our penultimate candidate, again, a specialist who never imagined that she'd be standing for election. Never imagined that she'd put her head above the parapet. But she, again, had the courage. She felt compelled. She knew that something had to be done. She works in the world of environmental protection. She's a specialist in conflict resolution. She knows a thing or two about negotiation. And once again, I'd much rather have Katharine negotiating on behalf of this country than useless, incompetent civil servants who don't believe in Brexit. Please give a huge welcome, Katharine Harborne.
Please welcome to the stage, Katharine Harborne.
Well, how do I follow all that? I thought that over the last few weeks, the team of candidates that I've been working with, they are truly exceptional. They are awesome. And it's been a complete... I must say, we've been so supportive of each other. It's amazing. There's no backstabbing. It's all supportive and wonderful. So, anyway, right, back to my speech. Did you know that scientists have started using politicians instead of rats in their experiments? Now, they do this for two reasons. Scientists don't get attached to politicians, but there's some things that rats won't do. So, as a scientist, what on earth am I doing here? On the 29th of March, I was enraged. I felt betrayed when Theresa May delayed Brexit. I was actually lost for words, which people who know me know that doesn't happen very often. Now, as an environmental scientist and an entrepreneur and someone who knows a bit about conflict resolution, this whole Brexit fiasco has left me in no doubt that the current political system is not fit for the 21st century and needs to change. We should not be fighting these Euro elections at all. And I was so angry. It was great that somebody suggested that I go and see Nigel and talk about the Brexit Party, and then literally a month later, here I am. I can't believe it. But I am so delighted to be standing here as a potential MEP representing the West Midlands. You're going to have to work really hard to get me elected because I'm number 7 on the list. So that means nobody's got to vote for anybody else but the Brexit Party. But I believe you can do it. Because we need to change politics for good. Now, it's not about being European. I'm not anti-European. I've actually had my DNA tested. And I'm 100% European. Okay, I'm quite a bit Viking. And 25% ancient Britain. And even a little bit of some of my ancestors came from the Neanderthal Valley in Germany. But I think those are good genes. So as other candidates have said, it's not about right and left anymore. It is about right and wrong. And we have to change politics for good. Now, in 2017, I was actually given just 2 years to live. Now that focuses the mind, I can tell you, like nothing else. What's a worthwhile life? So for the last 21 months, I've been battling cancer. I've been thinking, no, I've been battling cancer and I'm winning that battle. Now, literally a few weeks ago, when the oncologist said, Katharine, go and have a holiday and celebrate, I don't think he had in mind me standing as an MEP. So, I've been battling to save my life, and I'm winning, but I've been campaigning to change things all my life, and I'm not going to stop now. This last 20 months has made me realise the things that are important to me, and hence three of my top priorities are, I believe, that are worth fighting for, are democracy, a better environment, and better cancer care. I want to follow in the steps of Dame Tessa Jowell to get better cancer care. But now, here today, I'm battling for Britain and democracy. After we've won the battle for Brexit, I wholeheartedly want to see politicians and business people and people working together to find the best solutions for the world's biggest challenges facing the UK of climate change and healthcare emergency. I hope that gives you a flavour of who I am and why I'm putting myself through this. Now, are there any fans of the Game of Thrones? Yay! I'm a fan too. Well, change is coming. But that change will only come if you vote. You and all your friends and family vote to change politics for good. Vote for the Brexit Party. It is your democracy. It is your vote. Let's use it. Thank you.
Wouldn't you agree? Without question, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I've talked about the quality of our candidates being, in my view, our view, the highest quality that have ever stood for public office. But you can see that also, without doubt, the most courageous candidates that have ever stood for public office. Thank you. And I think we've got one more speaker. He needs little introduction, but I have some very good news. He's been in training. Because he knew from some time ago that we were going to be betrayed. He's been battling for this cause for over 25 years. And you talk about courage, the abuse, the vitriol, the threats to his own safety, his family's safety, his children's safety is unbelievable, and still it goes on. And yet, he is here battling the biggest battle ever, the battle for democracy, and the battle to lead change in this country, change for good. Please give a massive welcome, Nigel Farage.
We have a parliament that is now completely out of touch with our country. I think politics is broken. Our task and our mission is to change politics for good. The Brexit Party has been formed because, very simply, the government and Parliament do not wish to deliver Brexit. We are fighting back. The whole of our politics needs changing. The two-party system doesn't work anymore.
If they thought we were going to give up, they've got another think coming. This country needs the Brexit Party, and the Brexit Party needs you. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage, Nigel Farage.
Just a week before that referendum back in 2016, I was in the Bullring Market in Birmingham, and we went round meeting all the traders, meeting with shoppers, and I remember getting back on the bus, leaving thinking, wow, that went really, really well. And it matters because we are here in the heart of England. And how the heart of England votes is how the rest of the country will vote. And to the astonishment of our political leaders in Westminster, to the horror of much of the media commentariat, and I do include Andrew Marr and the BBC in that. Yes, oh yes, absolutely. And I think many others were very surprised on the 23rd of June 2016. I suspect President Obama was quite surprised as well. David Cameron, of course, resigned the next day. And of course, we'd been told by George Osborne that 500,000 jobs would go, taxes were going to go up, interest rates would go up, house prices would collapse, foreign and direct investment would leave the country, plagues of black locusts would descend upon our land. And to the horror of all of them, and in particular, the one person who I think was most appalled when we heard that Birmingham and the West Midlands had voted to leave on that evening, I think the person who was most horrified by the result that we decided to leave was one Anna Soubry. Always gets the biggest boo. So it was a great day, and the West Midlands in many ways did lead the way with some really big Leave votes in some of these constituencies. And, you know, the next year we had a general election. We were told Brexit means Brexit. But we were also told by the Labour Party that they would respect the result of the referendum. And don't forget that 500 members of Parliament had voted for Article 50, which became part of the law in this country. That's important. And what did it say? What did it say? It said, we will leave the European Union on March at 11 p.m. and we'll leave with or without a withdrawal agreement. And I have to tell you, And I really thought we'd won. I really thought it was going to happen, because I thought we lived in a civilized, democratic nation that respected the rule of law. I had underestimated the sheer levels of dishonesty amongst our political class. They have done everything to prevent the greatest democratic exercise in the history of our nation from taking place, and I think the whole thing is an absolute disgrace. So, I had to think, what am I going to do? Am I going to stand aside? Am I going to stand aside and be rolled over by these people to allow 25 years of work of my adult life to turn into dust because of a sheer dishonesty and duplicity of our political class? Or am I going to stand up and fight? And I chose to stand up and fight. And that is why I formed the Brexit Party, and I am absolutely thrilled that we have got men and women of the caliber, integrity and courage who are standing with me in this election, such as those on this platform this evening with me. So, here's the important thing. There's no point in just getting mad. There's no point in just fulminating with rage against the treachery and duplicity of all of our political leaders. What we now have to do is look calmly and I think optimistically at what is before us. Here in the West Midlands, you have seen the choice. You've seen the Brexit Party menu. What does it look like if you were considering going out and voting for Mrs. May's Conservative Party? Well, let me tell you, the two leading Conservative candidates in the West Midlands are both Remainers. And the two leading Labour candidates in the West Midlands are Remainers, who both support a second referendum because you didn't know what you were voting for, did you? Did you know what you were voting for? And to think that Mrs. May is going to bring back to the House of Commons for a fourth time. I mean, talk about the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. And by the way, it is not Mrs. May's deal. It is a new European treaty written by Monsieur Barnier with Angela Merkel looking over his shoulder. Well, at least Angela Merkel's elected. Barnier's not elected. Tusk's not elected. And Jean-Claude Juncker, after lunch, has got no idea whether he was ever elected to anything. Yeah, it's okay. I'm going through my low booze hypocritical stage at the moment. But the point is, we are being deceived. We're being told to leave one set of European treaties, to sign up to another European treaty, which in many ways is as bad, if not worse, than the current arrangement. And we will be damned if we're going to accept it. All right? Damned. And just to really put me in the mood, they've been negotiating with Mr. Corbyn's Labour Party, discussing the possibility of tying us in to the customs union on a permanent basis and alignment with single European market rules. They've actually been attempting a coalition of the politicians against the people. Well, let me tell you, we're the people, the Brexit party are the people, and they are in for the shock of their lives come next Thursday. Shock of their lives. They really are. They really are. So let us be positive. Let us be upbeat. Let us say that we believe in our country. We believe in its people. We believe in our ability to make our own laws. We believe in our own ability to chart our own destiny. We believe that we should be able to choose our own friends around the world and form whatever relationship we choose from them. And we think starting with the Commonwealth would be a very good idea. Well, what a surprising reaction. I thought you were all narrow-minded little Englanders. You see, they don't get it, do they? They don't understand. We want to be free. We want to be proud of who we are as a country. And we want to live in a system of democracy, something that the generations that went before us sacrificed so much in 2 world wars to make sure that we could enjoy. I truly believe, as a nation, we are now lions led by donkeys, and it's time we did something about it. And we will. We will. This is about more. This is about far more now than just leaving the European Union. This is about the very democratic system in our country. It's about the bond of trust that needs to exist between the governors and the governed for our civilization to carry on with the underpinning that it has. You see, democracy only works if the losers accept the result. But our political class haven't accepted the result. And so our job now is far bigger, far more ambitious than just campaigning for Brexit. Our job now is to completely transform the political landscape in this country, to sweep aside a two-party system that now serves only itself. Can we do it? Can we win? Are you with us? Will you vote for us next Thursday? Will you tell your friends and family to do the same? Give I did tell you, didn't I? There's no question. Not only is he warming back, ladies and gentlemen, but the training's paying off. He is on fine form. And we've got time for a few questions. And actually, the first question I've had from these rallies, what are the odds of Nigel becoming the next Prime Minister? Well, I'll tell you whilst he just gathers. I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there is no question that those odds are shortening fast, and that's what we've got to do. Now, we can still have some fun in politics. But unlike some audiences, you're a very proper lot. None of you has asked Nigel to marry you. But Andy's asked, what will happen if May's withdrawal bill doesn't get through Parliament? What happens next, you think?
Well, if Mrs May's withdrawal bill doesn't get through Parliament, and I don't think it will get through Parliament, you see, she's banking on it getting through Parliament because of fear of the Brexit party. She thinks her MPs and some Labour MPs will vote for it because that actually will stop the Brexit party dead in its tracks. She's wrong, as she's wrong about virtually everything, it seems to me. Actually, if this appalling treaty was to pass, then I think support for the Brexit party would grow even more quickly, and there are many backbench MPs that realise that. Look, the result, if we can win this thing next Thursday, and if we can win it big, and maybe we can, the result of it will be that a WTO Brexit will be back on the table of British politics. The other result will be the Prime Minister will be gone, May will be gone by the end of June.
Now, this is an interesting question that may go down well. Graham from Cannock asks, what can we do about the lies that are generated by the media? I won't mention any names, but just generally, what can we do about the media? I mean, friends of yours, Nigel.
Well, now you see, I know a chap in America who's, when he's confronted with this, says, you're fake news, fake news. Look, you know, the press is what it is. There'll be some for us, there'll be some against us. I think you have to live with that rough and tumble. That is the way that it's always been. It's the way that it will always be. And we can choose to buy different newspapers. We can choose to listen to different commercial radio stations. Where I have a problem is when we are effectively taxed 150 quid a year just to have a television in our house, and when the public service broadcaster does not put a single representative of this new party on any major television programme, even when we've gone from nothing to topping the polls, and when we finally do get a one-on-one interview, well, I'll leave it there.
The final question is a really serious one, and it's from Peter from Wolverhampton, who says, is there a risk that we get to October the 31st, they haven't done a deal, and rather than leave with no deal, that actually Parliament revokes Article 50?
Well, this conversation's been growing, hasn't it? You know, the idea that's now being put about is either we leave on WTO, which we're told by our MPs is unacceptable, or it could be a revocation of Article 50. I just want to say this to you. If we would finish up with a total betrayal on that level, then the Brexit Party would win the next general election and reverse it. I think it works.
So, let's have you on your feet, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on, let's organise. Come on, Richard.
On that encouraging note, on your feet, placards in the air. What do we want? Brexit. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Brexit. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Brexit. When do we want it? Now. Thank you very much indeed. Have a very safe trip home. Thanks for coming.
All right, everybody.